Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, however, I do have a good reason for that. I was in the process of moving. However, now that I am back, hopefully I can keep up with the 2 uploads a week like I used to do before, and hopefully I can do even more for you guys in the future. But today, I have brought my Dino deck profile that I've been taking to locals and seeing some pretty good success with it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Starting off, of course, we do run 2 copies of the boss monster, Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno can be special summoned by banishing 2 Dino monsters from your graveyard, or by the use of a card such as Double Evolution Pill. However, this card has a really good effect that says you can destroy 1 dinosaur monster on the field or in your hand to flip all monsters your opponent controls face down. This card can also, whenever it attacks a face down monster, you can destroy that monster before damage calculation and burn them for 1,000. And this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls. Continuing on, we do run 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. Oviraptor is the main starter for the deck, being able to either search to add to hand or send to the graveyard 1 dino monster from your deck. This card also has another effect that says you can destroy 1 dinosaur monster from the field to monster reborn a dino from grave, which is really amazing. Continuing on, we do run 2 copies of Venom-Dorned Archosaur. This card just says when it's normal or special summoned, you can destroy 1 dino from your hand, and then you can search for a Double Evolution Pill. Continuing on with the babies, of course we do run 3 copies of Baby Ceratosaurus, where this card just says if it's destroyed, you can special summon a level 4 or lower dino from your deck to your side of the field, and then we do run 1 copy of Petite Pteranodon just to be able to special summon any level 4 or higher monsters. Continuing on into the big one-ofs of the deck, we do run 1 copy of Miscellaneousaurus because this card is busted, just making it to where your dino monsters are unaffected by your opponent's card effects, and then we run 1 copy of Giant Rex because this card can come back repeatedly if this card is banished, and then we do, of course, run 1 copy of Dino Wrestler Pankratops to be able to special summon itself, and then destroy 1 card on the field by destroying this card. Continuing on, we do run the Scrap package. I run 3 copies of Raptor, 1 copy of Chimera. Main reason why I run 3 copies of Raptor instead of 2 like most people do is because I've noticed that this card can brick fairly frequently, especially if you draw 1 copy and then you just are locked out of being able to really play your turn, unless you want to have to commit to the normal summon of Scrap Raptor. Continuing on, we do run 1 copy of True King Lithosagam the Disaster. This card is really good, however, I feel that running more than 1 copy can easily cause your deck to brick, which I have had that happen too many times at locals, so I decided to cut this down to 1, and I feel like it works much better at 1. Continuing on to the hand traps, we do run 3 copies of Ash Blossom Joyous Spring, because this card is actually pretty good this format, as well as 3 copies of Impermanence. Continuing on into spells, we run 3 copies of Lost World, 1 copy of Dragonic Diagram, and 1 copy of Terraforming. I really like Lost World because the card has the effect of all non-dinosaur monsters in the field lose 500 attack, and this card also has the effect of if you summon a dinosaur monster to your side of the field, you can give your opponent a token that's level 1, with 0 attack, 0 defense, really easy to get over, and if your opponent's playing Kashtira, it turns off their special summoning because they control a monster. Of course, we do run the 1 Dragonic Diagram to be able to search for a copy of Lithosagam, as well as to be able to destroy a card in hand, which of course can be one of our baby dinos, and then Terraforming to search out any of these cards. Continuing on for extra consistency, we do run 3 copies of Fossil Dig. I saw a list the other day where somebody's only running 2 copies of this card is not a hard once per turn search for any level 6 or lower dinosaur monster, so I would suggest definitely maxing out on this card because it is one of the biggest consistency pieces. Then, of course, we do run 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill. This card just says they can banish 1 dinosaur monster and 1 non-dinosaur monster from your hand and or graveyard. Then you can special summon 1 level 7 or higher dinosaur monster from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So this is the main way that we get into Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, because this card is very searchable in the deck with cards like Venom-Dorned Archosaur. Of course, for consistency, we do run 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity, just to be able to dig down 6 cards, or 3 if you really want to just do 3, just so that way you can be able to find your combo starters or extenders. Then, of course, to wrap it up, we do run 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. Moving on into the extra deck, of course, we do run 1 copy of Evolzar Dolka. Dolka just says that during other player's turn when the monster effect activates, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card to negate the activation. If you do, destroy that monster. Then we do run one copy of Evolves Arlagia. This card's effect just says that during either player's turn when a monster would be normal or special summoned, or a spell or trap card is activated, you can detach 2 Xyz materials from this card to negate the summon or activation. If you do, destroy that card. Continuing on, we do run one copy of Dugaris the Timeless. This card isn't really the most important card for the deck, however, with cards like Pot of Prosperity halving your attack, you can always just use this card to be able to double your monster's attack, just to be able to get over bigger cards. We also do run one copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, Sky Thunder, just to be able to clear our opponent's boards. This card also acts as a kind of a bluff target for our opponent's Mind Hacker because it can rip a card from the extra deck, and Kashtira just loses to Sky Thunder. So 9 times out of 10, they'll just hit this card anyway, which is actually really good. Continuing into the links, we do run one copy of Link Karibo, just the way we can link off our Animadorned Archosaur, so that way we are one step closer to being able to resolve Double Evolution Pill because the Animadorned Archosaur is a Dino and this is a Cyber, so you just need to get this engraved. Then, of course, we do run one copy of Dark Charmer Gloomy, as well as one copy of Asa the Earth Charmer Immovable, just because these cards are really good, with this being an Earth and this one being a Dark, just to be able to either take our opponent's monsters or be able to get us our own cards later on when these cards are destroyed. One of the best Link monsters in this deck to be able to help close out games is, of course, Pentastag, because Pentastag just says that if your linked monster attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So therefore, you would usually put your copy of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno under this, activate the effect of Ultimate Conductor to flip all your opponent's monsters, and then just attack each of your opponent's monsters just to deal a lot of damage. Then we do run one copy of Scrap Wyvern for the scrap package, and then we do run one copy of Masquerena, Nightmare Phoenix, and Unicorn, all for the IP Masquerena package, just so that way we can bounce a card our opponent controls or destroy a spell or trap if we need to. To wrap up the links, we do run one copy of Bow of the Goddess and one copy of Access Code, just to help us close out games pretty easily. Then to wrap up the extra deck, we do run one copy of Borload Savage Dragon, because with the Scrap Engine, you can pretty much easily make this card every single turn. Moving on into the extra deck, we do run 3 copies of Raw Sphere Mode, just to be able to tribute our opponent's Kashtira boards mainly. If you could run Lava Golem instead of this, and there's definitely a good argument to run the Lava Golem instead of this, just to be able to clear 2 monsters, because more than likely your opponent's going to have 2 monsters on the field. Then, of course, I opt to run 3 copies of Dark Hold, just to be able to destroy any cards on my field that I don't want to be there, like a monster that our opponents would give to us, whether that be from Branded Retribution, or just practically any other card that gives me a monster. This card is just really powerful to clear boards, as well as if you're really in a rough spot, you could always just normal summon one of your baby monsters, activate Dark Hold to destroy it, and then you can continue your plays. Continuing on, we do of course run 3 copies of Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse is a really powerful card in this format, being able to flip all of your opponent's Kashtira monsters to be able to open your zones back up, as well as of course turn off their Arise Heart. Then of course we do run 3 copies of Evenly Matched, as well as 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier. Dimensional Barrier is really good against Kashtira, being able to call Xyz, and it's also really good against the Branded matchup, because all you have to do is call Fusion. And just a really quick announcement, I am planning on going to the Tuscaloosa Regionals in Alabama on April 8th, so if you guys are planning on going there, be sure to say hi, stop me, whatever, just challenge me to a friendly duel before or after. I'd be willing to hang out and definitely hang out with you guys. But with that being said, that's going to be about it. See ya.